Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Aidan from the Regional Mentoring Center on campus, and today we're going to be looking through the enrollment process for the University of Ottawa. Our goal is to make sure that your enrollment goes as smooth as possible, so we're going to be looking at how the course system works, how to find what courses you need to enroll into, and then lastly, how to go about enrolling. Before we begin, read through your offer of admission just one more time to make sure there's nothing you missed the first time you went through it. This would include any makeup courses, such as a math or science needed for your program which you did not take in high school, or any language efficiency courses required for you to be taken in your first year. The sections specify the deadlines to take these classes and which classes to take, so it's important that you mark those down before we get started. With that completed, let's take a look at how the courses on campus actually function. Taking one course will give you 3 units. You're expected to take 5 courses a semester, 10 courses a year, and then 40 courses overall for an honors bachelor degree. That comes out to 3 units, 15 units, 30 units, and then overall 120 units for your entire degree at the University of Ottawa if you're in an honors program. Courses come in one of 2 formats at the University of Ottawa, both of which have a minimum of 3 hours each week in class, which is why you get 3 units. They'll either be 2 hour-and-a-half session classes, which is the most common, or 1 3-hour session. You're looking at 5 courses a semester, 15 units, so you're looking at a minimum of 15 hours a week in class, and then on top of that you'll have your discussion groups, your tutorials, and your laboratories. The University of Ottawa uses the following course code system. You'll see 3 letters followed by 4 numbers, and while it looks a bit confusing, it's quite easy once you know what you're actually looking at. So the first 3 letters are the field of study. So here we have PHY, it's a physics course. The first number is the year of study, so we have PHY1, it's a first year physics course. And then the second number indicates what language it's in. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all English, 5, 6, 7, 8 are French, and then 0 and 9 are bilingual. So here we have PHY 1300. So it's a physics course for first years which is taught in English. It's the Big Bang and beyond. If you are interested in taking the French equivalent of an English course, all you need to do is add 400 to the course code. So before we had PHY 1300, if you add 400, you get PHY 1700, which would be the French equivalent of the Big Bang and beyond. It is the same course with the same content and exams. The only difference, of course, is that it's now taught in French. It does work the other way around. If you have a French course and want the English course, simply remove 400. Courses come in one of 3 types, a compulsory. During the enrollment process, you'll notice a series of 3-letter acronyms, LEC, DGD, and LAB. LEC stands for the lecture component of the course. This is where the professor stands in front of an auditorium and teaches. It's often what you see in movies and what you think of when you think a university or college course. DGD stands for the discussion group component. This is when a teacher's assistant talks to a much smaller group of students and explains the most important details and often has trial problems to run through. It's the practical work and the breakdown of the content you learned in the lecture. And LAB is the laboratory section. So this is the hands-on application of the theory that you learned in the DGDs and the lecture sections. Now, while you're selecting these components, you need them to all line up with the same course section. So that's the letter. As you see here, the example under the lecture heading is ADM 1300 A00 or B00. That would be section A and section B of the same class. The difference between them is often a different professor teaches them or a different timing in a different classroom. Select the one that fits the best into your schedule, and then when you are selecting the DGD and the labs, you need to select the same letter. So here we have ADM section A00. If you've chosen A00 for the DGD and the laboratory, you must choose A01, A02, and so on, just so that the same professor teaches all different components of the course. While you are enrolling, you will notice symbols next to the class results. These represent the status of the class, whether it be open, closed, or waitlisted. A green circle means that there are some seats remaining open in the course. The blue square means that there are no seats remained open and there is no waitlist. And the yellow triangle means that while there are no more seats left in the class, there is a waitlist that you can join. The waitlist is an automatic process where if someone drops the course and you're next in line to take their seat, you're automatically enrolled into their spot. It's important to note that if you've already enrolled into 5 courses, you should use the swap function to join the waitlist. If you have a full schedule and you've not used the swap function, the waitlist will skip over your name. If you're interested in using either the waitlist function or the swap function while enrolling, it's important to fully understand how it works before doing so. I suggest watching the waitlist and swap function video found by searching Enrollment Support uoAccess. Keep in mind the waitlist does not guarantee you a spot in the class, so it's recommended you enroll fully into 5 courses and then use the swap function to enroll yourself onto the waitlist. Now I'm sure you're wondering, how do I know which courses that I choose to enroll into? And the answer is you just Google course sequences uoAccess. A course sequence is a chart which tells you exactly what courses to enroll into for each semester for each year of study. You'll see a page which looks much like the one on the right. Go ahead and choose your faculty and find your program, and you'll end up finding something that looks a lot like the following slide. Here we have an honors and anthropology student looking at their first 2 years of enrollment in both fall and winter. Let's go through the first year just so we understand what we're actually looking at. In the fall semester, they're expected to enroll into ENG 1100 and ANT 1101. These are both compulsory courses. By the end of their program, they must take these 2 courses in order to graduate. They then have 3 elective units. 3 elective units is the same as 3 elective courses, so they'd be taking ENG 1100, ANT 1101, and then 3 electives. In the winter, they have an optional course. They're told to take 3 course units, which is 1 course, from ENG 1120 or ENG 1121. This is an optional course. They're given a list of 2 courses and told to pick one of the 2. They then have 12 elective course units. This means they have 4 electives. So in the winter semester, they'd be choosing either ENG 1120 or ENG 1121, and then they would be taking 4 electives. You don't want to scramble last minute to try and find courses to enroll into, or try and find courses that fit together nicely. You will want to do that ahead of time. You can plan out your fall and your winter terms and enroll for both of them at the same time starting in May. To avoid any conflicts, make sure you have backup plans just in case one of the courses that you'd like to enroll into becomes filled, so that way you don't have to scramble last minute to attempt to find courses which fit together nicely in a timetable. You can use the search tool before enrollment opens to see what courses are available and exactly what times, and we're going to be looking at that next. To begin, search course timetable uoAccess on Google, and you will find this page as the top result. Once you've entered the page, choose Launch the Class Search tool. This will bring you to the following form. Make sure at the top section you've chosen the correct term. So if you're searching for the fall 2020, make sure you've chosen fall 2020. You will then notice the subject code section. That is where you type in the 3 letters. And then the course number box, which is hovering to the right, that is when you type in the 4 numbers. So if we were searching PHY 1300, we would type PHY into subject code and then 1300 into the course number. At the bottom of the screen, you will see a search button. Go ahead and click that, and you will receive a list of results with their times and all information about the course. A few pieces of advice while planning your timetable. Make sure you choose the most rigid to the least rigid courses when inserting them into your PDF or onto your piece of paper. This would mean choosing compulsory and makeup courses first, optional courses second, and then electives last. The reason for this is your compulsory courses are a lot more rigid, you must take them, and they're not always offered at the most varying times, so they will be a bit harder to move around your timetable. Then fit your optional courses in around your compulsory, and finally fit your electives in wherever they can fit. If you're interested in what electives you are able to take, go ahead and Google electives without prerequisites uoAccess, and it'll bring you to a page where you can see every faculty and every elective course that each faculty offers. To assist with this, the university does have a plethora of tools online. If you go ahead and search Course Enrollment uOttawa, you will find useful tutorial videos, sample timetables used for planning your schedule, as well as a lot of other incredibly useful information. So I highly suggest you go ahead, you search that up, and you see what you can find to help you out. The videos explain everything in great detail and walk you through step by step each process. Following that previous link will bring you to a page which looks much like this. Choose the most applicable link for your situation, and it will walk you through the steps on how to enroll. Enrollment for first-year students begins Tuesday, May 19th at 8 a.m. It can be done through the Enroll tool in the Applications tab of your uoZone account. We will be covering that in the following slides. Make sure you've accepted your offer of admission at least 3 business days before enrollment begins, otherwise you will not be able to see this Enroll tool. When you're enrolling, choose 4 or 5 courses to be considered a full-time student, and 1, 2, or 3 and you're considered a part-time student. They do receive different OSAP and different funding. If you're in an honors program, you are expected to be a full-time student enrolled into either 4 or 5 courses. 5 courses is to graduate in the expected 4-year time. Now for the highly anticipated uoZone login process. Go to the University of Ottawa website and choose the login button at the top of the page. It will bring you to a login screen that looks like this. Type in your uOttawa email address in its entirety, including the @uottawa.ca, and then the password as well. This was included in your offer of admission email from the University of Ottawa after you applied. Once you're inside, you'll see the main page looks like this. 2 key sections to note. The key applications page is a bit of a shortcut. If you're looking for tools, you can see the Enroll tool is already there. But if you're looking for the rest of the applications as well, go ahead and choose the Applications tab at the top of the page. From within this Applications tab, choose the Enroll tool. It will look much like this. We've chosen to enroll and add new classes, is what the top is telling you. And now to actually do so, select Class Search and then Search. This will launch the same search tool which we used earlier on in the tutorial, with 3 things of note. Make sure you've chosen the correct semester, so you're not enrolling your fall courses in the winter or vice versa, as that can seriously mess up your course sequence. As well, enter the subject you're looking for, so from our earlier example that would be PHY, and under course number, insert 1300. When you click search, it will return a list of all courses that match that criteria in that chosen semester. Here we have the search results for PAP in the 2017 spring-summer term. Let's go through the results for PAP 3345, and I'll break down what the columns actually tell you about the information. So under the section column, there's one section of the course and it's A, so section A00-LEC. Note there are no lab or DGD components for this course, only the lecture section. The lecture section will take place Monday and Wednesday, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m., and they'll both take place in 145 LMX. They'll be taught by Joseph Roman and another staff member who's yet to be determined. They'll be taking place between those dates. Right now, the class has a green circle, which means that it is still open. Now, the most important columns on the search result are the available seats and the My Available Seats. Note that there is a different number between those 2 columns. The reason for that is while there may be 10 seats open overall, you are only able to take 9 of them. You might find that there's a 0 under My Available Seats and a 15 under Available Seats, or any other number that's higher than 0. If that occurs, the course will not let you enroll into it. If there's a 0 under My Available Seats, there's no way to enroll into that course. You can add yourself to the waitlist, but to actually fully enroll, you will not be able to take one of the open seats. This is one of the most common errors which comes up while enrolling, so it's incredibly important that you check this column whenever you're selecting a lecture, a lab, and a DGD. This will bring you to an information screen where you can choose to waitlist yourself if the class is filled, or you can choose to just proceed and add this course to your shopping cart. As you can see here, you can now see the shopping cart contains one class, which was the PAP course we chose earlier. You can add all of your different courses to your shopping cart at the same time, and then when enrollment comes, you can submit that cart and check out immediately. It's highly suggested once you've planned your schedule, you do fill your cart, and then upon 8 a.m. on May 19th, all you have to do is submit the cart and it'll enroll you into those courses. Proceed to step 2 out of 3 in order to do so. From here, you can choose to finish enrolling. It will allow you to review which courses you've chosen just to make sure that you are satisfied with your selection. And then after choosing finishing enrolling, you will see either green check marks or red X's. A green check mark means you are good to go, you are officially enrolled in that class, and you don't have to do anything else to do so. A red X means something has gone wrong and you are not able to enroll into that class. It might mean that there were no seats under My Available Seats for you, it might be that the class became filled, or that you don't have the prerequisite. It will tell you under the message column why you weren't able to enroll. As a first-year student, if you have any remaining questions at all, please do not hesitate to reach out to your mentoring team. For students outside of Canada, the International Mentors are a committed group of uoAccess staff whose goal is to make your transition to Canada as smooth as possible and your time on campus an enjoyable one. For Canadian students, you will be assigned a mentor who comes from the same geographical region that you do. Their job is to make sure your transition to the university is pleasant, smooth, and fun. Go ahead and add them on their social medias. And remember, if you ever have any questions, do not hesitate to message your mentor about anything at all, whether it be life on campus, how to enroll, what to expect, residency, you name it, they know the answers, go ahead and reach out to them. For the University of Ottawa, this has been Aiden, and we look forward to having you join us.